Muchísimas gracias por ver el canal, como siempre, Fernando Torres desde Vancouver, Canadá. Hoy día tenemos un video realmente extraordinario. Para mí personalmente es un sueño hecho realidad. Estoy aquí en las oficinas de Ibiza. Ibiza es probablemente la oficina de inmigración más grande de British Columbia y probablemente una de las más grandes en el país. Y estoy aquí, ella ha tenido la gentileza de brindarme su tiempo tan valioso y les quiero presentar a todos ustedes a Marilene Quintana, la directora de Ibiza. Hi Marilene, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you? Thanks for inviting me.
Oh no, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you to you for giving the opportunity to be here. So as I told just a moment, is for me it's a dream come true to be in your absolutely fantastic office in the middle of downtown Vancouver. And I would like to introduce all my Spanish speaker followers. So they always ask me about trusted and reliable source of immigration consultants. Tell us, please, what is Ibiza?
So Visa has been working with migration since 2014. We have helped over 7,500 families in several different processes. So we do visa, we do permanent residency through express entry, through provincial programs. I do NAFTA for
NAFTA, yeah.
for everybody that
Right.
is part of NAFTA. So we have the agreement with Mexico, Peru, actually Peru as well,
Right.
Colombia, so and other countries as well. So this is like a great opportunity for you guys to take advantage of that opportunity to come as a worker. And usually we have a very good success rate. So I think
That's
this is
important.
like a very good thing to say. And you can see our success through the several reviews that you have on our Facebook page and our Google page. So definitely, as you mentioned, we are a big office here. We have several consultants working with us. It was a dream for me to be in Canada when I was back in my home country. I had that dream and it was so special for me. That's why I decided to help other people to achieve this goal.
Right, right. So tell me something, Marilene. So, for example, someone who is in Latin America right now, and they usually have the same equation. What is the easiest process to come to Canada? Can you tell us something about it?
Well, I would say the easiest, it is usually the fastest as well, and the one that costs less.
Right.
So I would say the easiest because in terms of requirements, it only depends on you, doesn't depend on anybody else. I would say express entry, it is the fastest and the cheapest. Depends on your qualifications that will be easier or not. So express entry, it is a program for those who have English advanced level or French.
Right.
Has at least one more level after bachelor, so preferably bachelor and a postgraduate diploma or a master's, and at least 3 years of experience, work experience in a qualified position, right? Of course, the age, in this case also I would say the best would be between 20s, maybe up to early 30s, right? And putting all together, we have a point system. So we have a sum of points. And depending on your points, we are going to consider you qualified for this process. And if you are, this is definitely the easiest pathway to pursue. But Canada is actually a great country for immigration because there are so many options available, right? So we have the provincial programs. So Canada has 10 provinces, 3 territories, and every single province have at least 5 or 6 different ways to immigrate to Canada. So for example, if you are able to enter express entry, but you don't have enough points to be selected through the federal government, what's going to happen actually? Your profile is going to be available for the provinces as well. So we have Alberta, for example, that are selecting people. Most case that we saw was in the business field, which is great, business and finance and education. And in this case, they only request for you to be in the pool with above 300 points. And if you are there, you see like it's very easy to
Yeah.
to get 300
Right.
points, right? So it is not guaranteed, but it's definitely like a great opportunity. So that's why I really like to refer to Presento as the easiest pathway, because it opens a lot of doors, right? So Alberta is one of them. The Atlantic provinces also are selecting people into the express entry system. Ontario, but Ontario has some targeted occupations, or with French, or with tech. So there, of course, every province has different aspects, but I would say that's the way to go. And there is others, right?
Right. So, but what happened in this last weekend is that express entry points just rocketed, right? So just increased it dramatically in the last, I would say, two calls, the past calls, and until 472 points, I think. So people in Latin America are panicking. So you say, in your experience, that this is still doable through express entry?
Each case is different, so we have to look into your specific case to give an opinion. Most clients that we have, we understand what's the current situation, and we see if there is ways for us to optimize the points, right? We understand that the reason why the points have reached to what we consider high, right? So last year the average was 450 or less, and this year so far it has been 470, which is 20 points, which makes a big difference, and it is a lot when we consider the point system. But I think like we can always create a strategy to make sense for you. I think for people in Latin America, especially those who can benefit from the free trade agreements, they have the upper hand. Why? Because once you are here in Canada with a work permit that was obtained through the free trade agreements, NAFTA or the Peru, Colombia agreement, you receive 50 points if your occupation is classified as 0, A or B, right? And these 50 points you receive after working 1 year in Canada with additional points of Canadian experience class, right? So I would say for you guys is very easy. Of course, may take up to 1 year for you to be working here with your work permit, but it's definitely achievable. I have clients that came with NAFTA, and then we applied for immigration later with that additional points, and some of them have like 500 points or above.
Oh, that's great.
So it is possible, and you guys have the upper hand in this situation just to have access to those agreements, right? And there is still people that can achieve those points. Has to be young, has to have a very good education skills, and well, we always have to look into your specific profile to see what is possible, right?
Well, I forgot to mention, Marilene, that you are from Brazil.
Yes.
So you are pretty much our neighbor, right? So that's very important to mention, because you can understand how the Latin American culture works. So you are...
I'm Latino myself,
exactly,
right? I'm Latino.
Exactly. And just a curiosity, I think it's very important that people in Latin America can get this message. So how big is e-visa, right? So we mentioned that you have a lot of office, not only national but also international, and this is something really important that you have to consider when you have to decide who you must trust, who rely in order to get the best advice to immigrate to Canada. Can you tell us, Marilene, so what is the size? How come were you able to build all this kind of empire?
Okay, thank you. Well, Visa today has 4 offices, one in Vancouver, which is our headquarters. We have over 40 people working for us. We also have the office in Toronto, in Brazil, and in Iran. And hopefully
in Iran?
Iran as
wow.
well. Yes, and I do have a lot of clients that speak Spanish. We have one consultant here that speaks Spanish as well, even though he's Brazilian, right? I speak Portuguese, guys. I have studied Spanish before, and I supposed to know, but I kind of forgot. So I'm so sorry. I do have some clients from Colombia, from Mexico. I had Peruvian clients before as well. And I was able to speak in English most of the time, but sometimes we would switch and try the Portuñol
Right.
or the Span English, and worked very well. And I promise you guys, if I can improve my Spanish, so next video eventually I can even try to do in Spanish. But
Right.
I think we were able to grow because of our success, right? So
Definitely.
when people are happy with our services, they refer to the other, they refer to the other,
Definitely.
and that was the formula to grow and be able to help so many people as we are today.
Because you have just received an award, right, from the province.
Oh,
Right.
we received last year as the immigrant entrepreneur.
Oh wow.
I was between the 5 most successful entrepreneur immigrants
That's
of
unbelievable.
BC.
That's unbelievable.
This year, actually, I was invited to be there to encourage
Oh,
our other
Right.
participants,
Yeah.
and I was very happy to be there. So
Oh,
last
wow.
year, I received the award was. I was okay. So last year I was selected as one of the top 5, and this year I participated as alumni. Right, so they
Oh.
invited me to be there and
Wow.
to support the other
Congratulations.
immigrants.
That's absolutely fantastic. Wow.
And for you as a client, I would say immigration, it is a very tough business, right? So a lot of people start working in this
Right.
field and give up because it is a lot of pressure to handle the client and the government and the expectations, and some people end up like starting in the business and,
Right.
and leaving. So when Fernando said that it is important for you to work with with an immigration firm that has a history of success, that has been in business for a
Reputation.
while, that has good reputation, this ensures that even if, like, I don't know, if you're working with me, for example, and I kind of suffer an accident or
Right.
get any medical issue, for example, you have a support system that is going to be here for you.
Right.
We are not going to disappear because of the size that we have, right? Not only me, but all the company has a good structure. So you know that first we have a lot of success, and secondly, there is always somebody here or in the Toronto office or even overseas to provide you a support that you need to have the information that you need to navigate the immigration process, right?
Right.
So I think that's very important too,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
I have heard so many people that trusted somebody that was just starting, and that person just disappeared or stopped replying emails or telephone calls because maybe got overwhelmed. So
Yep.
definitely having a company to support you, it's very important.
I just want to point it out something that I always mention in my videos, in my channel. People who follow me from a while know exactly what I'm going to say. And many times I have mentioned that the biggest Latin population in Canada is the Brazilian community. And you can realize now why. Why is the Brazilian is the Brazilian population the number one from Latin America, right? Because they have excellent professionals here. But Marilene, so again, just going back a little bit about the way to people to immigrate to Canada. Many people choose because of this factor of express entry. People have panic from express entry. Many of them otherwise decide to take the study path. So what are your thoughts about the study first and stay in Canada for a while and then apply for permanent residence? Is a good idea? Is a good strategy or not?
I think it's an amazing idea, actually. It was what I did myself.
Yeah.
And I think like sometimes when you think of immigration, it's like deciding to marry. You are always like, oh my God, that's going to be forever. It's a big decision. So sometimes you want to have a taste of it first
Right.
before you jumping into immigration, right?
Oh, I see your point.
Or into marriage, I don't know. But for example, if when I came here, I really didn't want to live in Brazil anymore. I had an experience to study English abroad, and I was like, I want to have this experience. I want to live abroad, but live like for a longer period of time. But I was not sure that I was ready to immigrate,
Oh,
right?
I see.
So I decided to come to study for 1 year. So for me, it would be great to improve my resume, be here, have this opportunity. And I say, you know what? And if you decide that Vancouver is the place that I want to be, then I will pursue permanent residency, because it was already my dream to live abroad, but I was just not sure that was exactly
Right.
what I want before
Yeah, exactly.
tasting it, right?
Right.
So I came to study, and for me, and what I tell my clients too, is like studying in Canada open a lot of doors for you. So first, because if you
Important.
are, with intermediate level of English, for example,
Right.
you study here, you are immersed in the culture, and you naturally are going to improve your English level. So for example, if you don't get enough points today for express entry because of your English skills, if you come to Canada, you definitely is going to improve your English skills. So
For sure.
on a later period, you can definitely consider increasing higher scores in your English test for immigration.
Right.
Secondly, you improve your academic skills
Yeah.
as well. That also helps you to immigrate, right? So once, for example, if you have a bachelor back home and you come to study even like a 1 year diploma in Canada, this already counts for additional 32 points in your express entry system, which is like good points. And if you study in a public institution, you even receive additional 15 points for studying in a public institution.
Right.
So out of a total of 47 points, which is like a lot.
Right.
So imagine you are going to have the experience of studying in Canada, the experience of improving your English, and even after all this, which is already amazing to
Right.
have all these
Right.
additional skills in your life, you also have more points for your immigration plan. So a lot of people actually are able to qualify for immigration after completing this school in Canada, right? Not even needing support of an employer or a Canadian experience. They usually can qualify right away. So that's a good thing too.
So, sorry.
Third, some of the schools offer the post-graduation work permit,
Right.
which is a work permit after graduation, and this gives you access to the job market. And there is so many ways for you to qualify once you have an employer here. So you can qualify by your Canadian experience, you can qualify if you
Right.
have support of your employer, you can
Exactly.
even qualify. There is a program here in BC, for example, that if you work as a server, which is like the easiest job ever for you to get, or as a server, food counter attendant, kitchen helper, you work for 9 months, you are able to apply for immigration afterwards. So
Oh, wow.
it is like a great process. So pretty much once you come to study, you open so many doors, right? You can improve your English, you can improve your education, you can get a job that can provide you support to immigrate through a
Right.
PNP, through LMIA, so many options. And you can also marry somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I
Can be.
came...
Even male or female, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter,
Right.
doesn't matter. And I came to Canada, for example, as a single. I immigrated because my program of studies was actually a very short one. It was a 6 months study and 6 months work. So it was very short. And I was a project manager in Brazil.
Oh.
In my first interview in Canada, I got a job as a project coordinator.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
that
great.
company support me through my immigration. So that is actually an amazing program. It's the provincial program of BC.
What a history.
I love it. And I really recommend it. I use it myself.
Right.
But I have to say that I also met my husband in Canada,
Oh.
right? So I didn't immigrate with his support, but
So your immigration was perfect.
there was a backup plan and everything.
Right, exactly.
I'm kidding, guys. It was that's still a way to immigrate, right? And I have seen so many people that came here and you just find the love of your life and can be a pathway too. So there's so many options that open for you, right?
So, yeah, that's very important what you mentioned, because as you can see, guys, immigrate to Canada, take this big step in life like a big entrepreneur or get married with someone is a very complicated process. So that's why you will never get the whole idea just watching YouTube videos about some guys who say how to immigrate. So you have to consult with someone with experience, with talent, with charisma in order to guide you to take you from your home country and come to Vancouver, especially, right, or British Columbia. That's very important to mention. So I would like to take this hot topic. It's a little bit hot because after everything happens in US 2 years ago, so many people are coming from US to Canada, right? So many people are even crossing the border illegally. So there are a lot of people from Latin America, especially from Central America, El Salvador, Guatemala, even Mexicans who are coming here in Canada in order to apply for a different path in the immigration process. I'm talking about the refugee. Do you have any thoughts about that process as well, or how can e-visa help those people who, for some reason or another, are trying or are thinking to formalize their situation in Canada?
Okay, so we are opening a new initiative to help also those people that come as refugee. So before we jump into that, I just want to clarify that refugee cases means that you fear for your life because of religion, political opinion, membership in a group. For example, if you are I don't know, homosexual and this is not acceptable in a gang or in some situation in your country, pretty much like situations that you are fearing for your life and you cannot rely on the government to protect you. Right? So we have a lot of people contacting us saying that, for example, in Mexico, they fear for their lives because of the drug cartel. They cannot leave the drug cartel, or they live close by and they are afraid for their lives because of they know or something like that. These are real refugee cases, right? So there is also an opportunity to review your case and understand if you qualify as refugee. And e-visa now is opening a new division to take care of those cases as well.
Oh, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic news for us.
Yeah.
So guys, so as you can see, that has been an absolutely fantastic opportunity to learn a little bit about immigration to Canada. But before we finish it, I would like to wrap up the main trains for coming to Canada, right? So you say we have express entry path, we have the provincial nominee, and also the studies. Am I correct in that appreciation?
Yes, there are so many other ways, right, we can consider, but these are the ones we talked about today.
Yeah, you can help us in the final goal to came to this particular province, for example?
We can actually help with immigration process and study and work visa for the entire Canada, except Quebec. We only do visas. We don't do immigration, economic immigration. We just do spouses, for example, or the LMIAs, for example. We do those programs. So in BC, I love the provincial program of BC. So we help a lot of people to come through the provincial program of BC, but we actually help people with all other provinces as well. Even like our office in Ontario right now is very busy because this month the Ontario immigration program opened. So we were able to send many applications, and we are still working on those actually. So we do have like clients in the Atlantic provinces, for example, Alberta. So we can help you to come to Canada and like visa or PR, regardless of the province of choice.
I know this is the final one. I know that you are traveling a lot, so especially to Brazil and that area, right? So we will love to see you anytime soon into our countries as well, maybe in Peru and Colombia and Mexico, doing face-to-face workshops. Would be great.
I would love to, definitely, yes. I have been in Colombia as a tourist. I have been in Mexico many times as a tourist, and I would love to go there and present to you guys with so many options that we are with the options that we have to allow you to consider immigrating to Canada and sharing this amazing country with us. And I do think like if there is only one thing that I would like to have more in Canada, it is definitely Latino people.
The good ones.
The good ones.
I know. So again, so thank you so much for your time, for your predisposition to talk with us, with all the Latino community. Definitely all the information about e-visa is gonna be here in the description of the video, in the comment section. Please contact e-visa. So Marilene Quintana is the director of this office here in Vancouver. And again, thank you so much. As I told at the beginning, it's a dream come true to be here in your fantastic and fabulous office here just in the heart of Vancouver.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I will be waiting to help all of you guys, so please send us an email and we can definitely work together to make the dream of coming to Canada true for you and your family as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.